now, is there any questions for him? Now, would like to raise any questions?
Ask question.
Sorry?
All the way up here.
So you're a Christian? You asked a question for Dr. Brown? No, he put his hand up, don't worry.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Hi, Dr. Brown.
Hey.
Just a quick question with regards to the Holy Spirit mentioned in John 14:16. It
Yeah.
says, I'm just quoting it now, John 16:13 actually. I have much more to say to you, more than you can now bear. But when he, the Spirit of truth, comes, he will guide you.
Can you put the microphone just closer?
Yeah.
He will not speak on his own. He will speak only what he hears.
So could you start again?
That's fine. Okay, so it's John 16:13. I'm sure Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Brown said.
Yeah, yeah.
So the Spirit of truth will not speak on his own. He will only speak what he hears, and he will tell you what is yet to come. If this is the Holy Spirit, which is mentioned as the Spirit of truth here, if that's your assumption, then I would like to know what is it that the Holy Spirit brought, which is new, which they did not hear from Jesus Christ during his ministry, and what is it that they couldn't bear that they heard new after Jesus Christ ascended? And if that is the case indeed from the Holy Spirit, how do they ascertain that is indeed the Holy Spirit speaking to them and not something which is evil or something which will take them against God when they hear about it?
Yeah. So there are multiple questions there. But again, Jesus is explicit, as we've read, that the Paraclete, the Helper, is the Holy Spirit. Right? So we showed that it's complete mockery to make that out to be Muhammad. Right? That's an impossibility. Muhammad is not the Holy Spirit, unless you want to argue he's part of the Trinity. Moreover, this very passage says that he, the Spirit, will glorify me, Jesus, because it is from me that he'll receive. So unless you believe that that Muhammad received from Jesus, this can't possibly refer to Muhammad. So how did they know that the Holy Spirit was the one promised? Because he came upon them with supernatural power so that they could now work miracles that he worked, and through their preaching, he glorified Jesus and drew people to Jesus. So there's no ambiguity. There was no other spirit at work. It was the same one who spoke. If you want the further insights that he gave, remember, first he's going to remind them of everything Jesus said, according to John 14:26. And then just read through the letters, read through the epistles, and you'll see that further dimensions, further insight into the meaning of his death, further insight into the meaning of his resurrection, further insight into the words he spoke about his return. You have further revelation in the rest of the New Testament that's not found in the words of Jesus. How is it given? By the Holy Spirit. So again, it's very airtight. There's no ambiguity. The text is quite explicit. And say it again. All that belongs to the Father is mine, Jesus said. That is why I said the Spirit will receive from me what he will make known to you. And remember, Jesus said that he will send the Helper, the Spirit, from the Father. So unless you want to say that Muhammad was sent by Jesus from the Father to glorify Jesus, and that Jesus gave him the information, and that his primary mission was to do what? Speak to those disciples. Muhammad did not speak to those disciples 2,000 years ago. Can't possibly be him. You might make a better argument that it was Barack Obama, Donald Trump, or Boris Johnson than Muhammad, to be candid.
I think he misunderstood my question.
Okay. If you want to come back, don't worry. I think in the next round you're probably the only one asking the question. If you come around again anyway, you can just repeat yourself and repeat the question.
No, he's got a minute.
Yeah.
He has his minute.
John 16:15.
Yeah. Sorry. So
He will receive from me.
Yeah, well, he started earlier. He started John 16:12.
okay. So yeah, sorry.
All right, then. The first thing is Dr. Brand quoted John chapter 16, verse number 15. But as scholars mention, John chapter 16, verse number 15, about him receiving from Jesus, is a later interpolation, which James Dunn, by the way, confirms. And same thing with John chapter 16, verse number 14. They're missing in early manuscripts. John chapter 16, verse number 15 is missing from P66, by the way. There's a book called by Randall Helms called the Gospel Fiction, where he mentions Christians were writing interpolations into this because the Paraclete was originally superior to Jesus. Now notice something else Dr. Brand said, which is going to confirm the Paraclete is not the Holy Spirit. He said that they had to receive the Spirit to work miracles. In Matthew chapter 12, verse 28, Jesus says that it is by the Spirit of God I drive out demons. Yet in Mark chapter 6, verse number 7, Jesus gave the power over unclean spirits to the disciples, which means they were given the Holy Spirit in the Synoptic Gospels.
Okay, thank you. All right then, so.